hope y'all having a good day. Today is going to be a reading on what you saw as you transitioned to this life, what you were aware of, that your soul was getting into as you went into this life, maybe some soul contracts you decided to participate in, and just generally the pathways you saw your life going, or you saw your soul going on in this lifetime as you were transitioning from your last life, your past life, to this life. And then for some of you, this will also include what you saw in the transition of birth. So like as your soul was coming to you inside your mother's womb, basically. Because you get a bunch of DMT that goes through your brain when that happens when you're born. So yeah. First pile. Well, the piles are gonna be these necklaces. I don't really feel like taking them off. So the first pile is gonna be this 111 black necklace. It kind of looks like a W, like a really fancy W, but it says 111. And I'm matching this with Arson, who lives like halfway across the country. The second pile is this evil eye, just this regular, your standard evil eye. I got it at a local shop called the Unorthodox. And this is the third pile, which is this necklace that I've like had since I was 13, that I use for protection. We're just gonna clear the space for your reading. If you chose this 111 necklace, this is gonna be your channel on what you saw as you transitioned into this life. Maybe for some of you, pile one, you might already know somewhat, like maybe not know like the specific details, but I feel like maybe you're more in touch with your past lives than other people are, or maybe when you know how some people have memories of when they were an infant or even when they were in their mother's womb. So some of you might be like that, pile one, but let's see. Using the Tarot del Toro today, as usual. Spirit, give me some energy for pile one. What were they seeing as they transitioned into this life? What were they seeing in the in-between states? We have 8 of Pentacles. I'm feeling like whatever your soul's purpose is in this life, maybe not even your soul's purpose, but the setting your soul is getting, or how your soul is going to be raised as you grow up, is very similar to how it happened not only in your most previous life, but maybe it has happened over and over again for quite a few lives. I'm getting 8 lives in particular of just this keeps happening, this cycle keeps happening, and this is the 8th life. And I'm feeling like while you were transitioning to this life, you saw basically no matter what path you chose, your cycles were still reflecting your past life, because there's something your soul still hasn't been able to learn to get past that cycle. Maybe for you, pile one, knowing your past life or having memories from your past life is important, because all of these lives that have had the same sort of cycle, like this pocket of like lives that have had the same cycle, is sort of like a story within the other. So even if it's just this life and your previous life where things have been the same, they're still mirroring each other in a way where they come together to form a complete story. Now this could be just 2 separate lives, this could be up to 8 lives that you've had Oh, I just heard 9 lives. Like this is your 9th life. You're a little cat. Okay. Anyway, though, it's like as you were transitioning to this life, your soul knew that you had already been learning this lesson, that you're still trying to learn this particular lesson. Spirit, what lesson is this? What lesson is this? What lesson is this? We have the devil. The devil. Hold up. That's dramatic. That's dramatic. So, for some of you who resonated with the upbringing, you may have had a trouble upbringing in past lives, and you've had to deal with the same sort of authority figure who was in this devilish energy, who was in their ego, who was more beast than man, is what I'm hearing. It's like they indulged their beastly aspects, or the part of them that separates themselves from like animals. So maybe they like did some like horrendous shit that like it's just inhuman, you know, like no human with common sense would do this. So maybe you saw this person as a monster, and you've sort of had to deal with that over the course of like this lesson. Has something to do with power struggles, like your soul having to go through power struggles that you can't escape from because it's your parent. Now that's not going to resonate for all of you. For others of you, this is just like your soul needing to learn a lesson about its own ego. There's a specific way your soul defines itself as an individual in the 3D world that isn't aligned with your own highest good. So shadow work is definitely important to you. Past life meditation is good for you. For those of you who don't already know what this repeated cycle is. For some of you, I'm hearing like, this is only for a few of you though. Like a lot of you know how to be in your devilish energy, but for some of you, your past life spirit kept testing you over and over again that you could step into this devil archetype, that you could step into this energy, and you just couldn't do it. It's like you had a problem with hurting people, you had a problem with controlling other people. It's just your soul wasn't ready. And even if you, I don't know, but I'm feeling like for this life, your soul's main focus is strength, separation, cutting things off. Like there's a heavy energy of just like the power of saying no. And if you look at his feet, if you look at his little feet, you see one of them is hooved and one of them is just a regular foot. So there's this emphasis on your soul needing to find the balance between your shadow side and your light side, because maybe you can embody this devilish energy, but it's not for your own highest good. It's not for the highest good of others. It's just sort of like when you're angry or upset, you know, and your ego's in control. Like there needs to be a good balance of your spirit being in control of your ego, but they're both balanced, you know. And not only that, but being able to direct that balanced energy into justice, karmic justice is what I'm hearing, like, and not just any karmic justice, not like the angels are bringing karmic justice, like, it's about, like, this is mean karmic justice, pile one, like, your soul is meant to bring very harsh, divine judgment channeled straight from God, which is probably why your soul has been so sensitive throughout all these lives, is you're way more receptive to the power of God within you. while the people around you may have been the opposite and sort of resented you for it or put you down for it or tried to make you believe that that power wasn't inside you. And maybe you've never used this power to hurt other people. You've always steered clear from really doing anything to not help other people, but it's like your soul has a need for like taking this cup away from people, it's like, I don't even know how you do it. Everybody does it differently, but these little scraggly demons down here, these little people fiending for your power and just like waiting for you to drop some crumbs for them, they're the ones being targeted by this, because it's like no matter what life you're in, it's like people just attach to you and use you or resent you, and it's like people get obsessed with you. And it's like you're meant to stand in your divine devilish energy, because with so many people obsessed with you, you stand in your divine energy, and them receiving that is sort of gonna bring karma upon them. And I know I'm sounding so stupid right now. I'm trying so hard to explain this, but it's like, it's really important for you to not be afraid to be the bad guy or stand up for yourself, even if it's going to hurt other people or make them upset or make them uncomfortable. Because it's like you prioritize other people's comfort over your own. Because that's maybe a lot of you just how you were taught as a child. You know, you're supposed to value everyone else's happiness above your own. Yeah, in each of these lives, I feel like you knew, as you were transitioning to this life, you knew that you aren't going to get any help with this. In fact, the situations and people surrounding you are going to try to enable you to be pushed down, to not stand in your power, to not believe in yourself, to feel bad for being the bad guy. Like, it's like the universe keeps trying to tell you you're wrong just so you'll figure out you don't need external validation to feel that you're right. You need to believe that you're right on your own, so that even when everybody else is telling you you're wrong, you stand in your truth, you hold you hold that sort of fucking clarity, and you're like cutting away all of the bullshit. Doesn't fucking matter. You're not even worried, and if the bullshit's going to be worried or not, you're just like, fuck it. This is how it's meant to be. And there's this need for you to step into that on your own, which is why sort of you've had all these like catalysts around you in each life of them just pushing you to the brink. And I feel like your soul has had to learn a lot of lessons, because it's taken a lot for your soul to get to this point. It's taken a lot, and your soul really was hell-bent on not learning this lesson. That's why it's been lasting so long. That's why it's had such an impact on you, is because it's really hard for you to learn this lesson. We have 5 of Cups. I'm feeling like you mourned yourself a little bit as you were transitioning into this life. I feel like you could see the path your soul was going to go on. You could see how hard it was going to be for you. Just because of the mindset your soul is in terms of the 3D world. And you also saw how the relationships around you weren't going to be fair towards you. They weren't going to be equal give and take. Like, it was really hard for you to accept what you were going to have to go through as you were transitioning to this life, because you realized how unfair it was going to be and how hard of a position it was going to put you in this 3D world. Yeah. Maybe you have major water placements, or maybe you have a major like karmic placement in your chart that like just puts pressure on you in every situation. And it's like, I don't know, people really don't like you once you do step into the devil energy. They're like, oh, they were hiding their true selves the whole time? Who is this person? Who even is this person? I've never seen them act this way in my life. And it's like they don't realize they pushed you to that brink. They don't realize they're seeing exactly what they need to hear from you, because it's like you don't get to that point unless you're pushed to the brink, you know? You go out of your way. As a soul, you go out of your way to make it easier for people until the point where like you're just pushed too far, and then all of a sudden you're standing in your devil energy just because that's how your soul has learned to protect yourself in extreme situations. And everybody's confused. Everybody's like, who is this person? I've never seen them act like this. This isn't the real them. They're some kind of demon. They're working with the devil, blah, 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 blah. It's like people really don't like it when you finally do step into your power, because A, they liked you better before. They're mean. They're mean. They liked stepping all over you. They liked feeling like they were superior to you. But B, they're scared of you, bro. I don't know if you know this, but like the devil is intimidating because he comes as everything like you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever feared. Like when you're in your devil energy, you know where exactly to hit home, how exactly to do it in a way that will actually change the situation. And you don't come to play no games. Once you're pushed to that brink, you're not playing no games. You're not. You're just genuinely not. It's not even funny at that point. And people get scared because they actually feel this like justice karma energy coming from you. And it's like they know you're bringing about change. Not just any change, but some heavy, mean-ass change. You have that huge-ass sword. You're not afraid to cut down any bullshit that's not willing to bend to your will, which is the divine will of God being channeled through you. I feel like people don't realize Lucifer is a fallen angel, and that all of the angels were made in God's image. Everything stems from God. Everything. So the devil, which directly contradicts everything that God and really the light stands for. You know, the light brings darkness. You know, it's just balance, and you're still channeling God even when you're in your devil energy. It's like, Padawan, I feel like you think that being in your devil energy automatically makes you a bad person, automatically makes it to where you're only looking out for yourself, you're not looking out for others. Automatically makes any action you do bad, void, you're not allowed to do it, and that's supposed to happen, you're supposed to feel bad for it. I feel like you don't realize the power that comes with this dark justice. Sometimes there's no other way justice can be found. When things get so dark to the point where, you know, only you, having gone through so much and having seen how dark people can really get, can really see those people, these petty demons, these petty people for what they truly are. Because you've seen a lot of darkness. Your soul has seen a lot of darkness, has lived through and experienced a lot of other people's darkness while still keeping your light. So while you've experienced all this darkness, you haven't become it. But you know how to wield it. You know how to use it because you're so familiar with it. And you don't do that unless you absolutely have to. And I feel like you should embrace the power you have to do that more. Because people get really scared of you. People are like actually listening to what you have to say, because it's like suddenly you switched up and you're not this nice person anymore. And they're like, huh? They either get super mad about it or they get super fucking like, whatever it is, their ego is always triggered. If you're a male watching this, every fucking guy around you is suddenly seeing you as competition. Even if you're a female, actually, like, females less see them as like competition, but males have a thing where they're like headbutting, you know, the tiny head. Lots of headbutting. It's like, it's weird. It's this energy where like the guys around you will be jealous of everything you have while also wanting to be you. And it's like kind of gay. Like they'll be kind of gay for you. Anyway, it's hard, okay? It's hard to find this devil energy in the world being channeled for good, being channeled for karmic justice. A lot of people step into this energy thinking, oh, I can do whatever I want and blah, 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 and I don't have to reap my consequences. I don't have to reap what I sow. And the devil comes and laughs him in the face and is like, now I'm taking your soul. This is what you get for all that shit you wanted that you thought was so important. No, you haven't sold your soul to the devil. It's like people are so afraid to show love to the devil. It's like your worst fears, you know? It's like trying to face your worst fears and you just can't do it. But it's like you've almost established this relationship with the darker parts of yourself of like mutual respect and understanding. And that has put you above other people in terms of being able to control yourself, because other people just let their fears control them, let their ego control them. They don't actually face it and try to like pour love into it so that they can understand those parts of themselves. They just think, oh, this is just how I am and I can't change and I suck, so the rest of the world should suck too. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, there's a difference between indulging your ego and letting your spirit take control of your ego to take the direction you know you need to take, that your spirit is trying to take. And that's what you usually end up showing people karmically, is like you show people that they are enabling their own karmic cycles. You point that right the fuck out, because it's like as soon as you get pushed into that devil energy, it's like you just say it, or you just show it. Or you just walk into the room and people feel it radiating off of you. It's like you don't need any words. Your energy says it all. And that's why people are so intimidated too, is just because like you don't even have to say it. They are so intimidated by you that they end up thinking about it themselves or guilty about it themselves because they want to be like you, but they're realizing, why do I want to be like them so bad? Because they have this, this, and this. I don't know if this is making sense, pile one. If this isn't resonating, this probably just isn't your pile, because we are getting to the end of the reading here. But let's see. I guess I'm curious about what you saw as you were entering your mother's womb as a soul, like when that DMT hit your brain and you were like first materializing in the 3D world. What did you see? Now in this moment, it's less going to be about what your path is going forward. It's not really just going to be like what the general vibe is for your soul in this lifetime. So what did you see as you first materialized in the 3D world? Like what part of you was the sort of seed that was planted, the sort of cell that multiplied, and those two multiplied, and they multiplied, and like, what was the very beginning for you? The very beginning emotion, the very first stone thrown. I feel like it was very intense. Very intense. I just got like a head rush as I was trying to channel it. Just like, woo, 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 woo. You might have a deep connection to your mother, or Mother Gaia, is what I'm hearing. You definitely, for some of you, it's like you're gonna have karmic or soulmate ties to your mother, and then you're gonna be reflecting some of the karmic patterns of your mother. For others of you, you're going to be really aligned with Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, and your physical attributes are sort of going to reflect that. It's like you sort of aligned with the earth as you materialized on earth, and you can always root yourself back to that, because that was sort of like the first sort of connection you felt when you materialized in 3D world, is that gravity bringing you back down. We have the Emperor in reversed. You're not meant to focus too much on your future. I feel like your soul materialized in the world was just really focused on the present moment, really receiving just like what you were getting right at that very moment. And not only that, Um, a lot of you were born female or were born with the feminine, divine feminine. You were just born with the divine feminine energy. Doesn't matter what gender you are, you were born a divine feminine. Um, and again, I'm hearing Mother Earth, so I'm feeling like when you first materialized in the 3D as a baby, I'm feeling like the universal mother connected to you in that moment. I'm seeing 111 on the clock. I just saw 2333 on the clock. She connected to you in that moment to sort of ground you to where your soul was and needed to be as a baby, and sort of help you with the first opening up of your senses, because that's why the DMT hits you, because you have that first opening up of your senses as a soul, you know? Even if it's just that one cell. That one cell that has your soul in it, it's just materializing that little lump of cells, you know? So, that first moment of your soul opening up to the senses of the 3D realm was really intense for you. So mother, the universal mother, Mother Gaia, or just the divine feminine of the universe in general, had to connect you into that moment and help you sort of bloom. It's almost like you might have had birth complications, or something like that, where you needed a specific assistance from the divine feminine, and maybe that's why you're so connected to the divine feminine, is because she was there for you in birth. I'm also feeling like you were just really receptive the whole time. So you as a soul are really receptive, much more introverted, much more intuitive than other people. Even as a baby, you were just sort of like watching what was going on around you, watching yourself being brought into the material world and forming. Sort of just like an overflowing mountain of like suddenly there was nothing there, and suddenly it was just overflowing. And it's been this constant state of overflowing coming from you. It's just like, I feel like Mother Gaia, the Divine Mother, knows that you are really overwhelmed with how much your energy you're constantly producing and receiving. So that was also something you had to acknowledge as you were born, is like a part of your soul was dimmed down because of the intensity and sensitivity that you are going to be experiencing in this lifetime. Hi, Patu. If you chose this standard evil eye necklace, it's gonna be your reading. I try not to make it as long as the first one. I kept trying to explain what I was feeling, but I had already said it the most I could possibly say it with words. So I just kept saying the same shit over and over again. Let's see. We're gonna clear your energy, Pal 2. I'm gonna clear your energy. I'm gonna clear the energy of the cards in the previous reading, although some of you might have aligned with Pile 1. I'm gonna clear my energy so I can channel more effectively. I'm gonna ask any spirit guides, angels, ancestors who wish to participate in this reading to go ahead and enter the door now. Anything that is not of the light or the divine plan is no longer welcome here, as emphasized by this evil eye that you chose, Pile 2, who absorbs any negative energy. Let's see. Spirit, give me the news on Pile 2. What did they see as they transitioned into this life? Pile 1 was dramatic, but this life is dramatic for you in a different way, Pile 2. It's sort of like, it's not that it's going to be intense, it's just that it's going to be a lot. Like, a lot is going to happen to you over your lifetime. And it won't feel that intense in the moment, but you're going to look back on that shit like, how did I fucking get through that? You may not be as connected to your past lives as Pile 1 was, but there is this definite energy of like having staying in the same bloodline as you did in your past life, or culture, the same country as you did in your past life. Let's see, what else do we have here? What did my pile 2 see as they transition? What did my pile 2 see as they transition? Alright. We have temperance. Temperance. Yeah, a lot of you, pile 2, knew that you were gonna have to be dealing with drug addictions in this life. You definitely saw that, or if it's not you, then it's people you were close to. You're gonna have to deal with secondhand experience of their drug addictions. That's important to your karmic cycles for some reason. We have Queen of Wands in reversed. Queen of Wands in reversed, and we have the Queen of Blades upright. I just saw a post the other day that was like 2 queens in the same reading means rivalry. And the fact that one of them is reversed and one of them is upright is really making me feel like that's true for this particular reading. Is like there's a clash in these 2 women's energy. Maybe you're gonna have maybe you knew you were gonna have a really hard relationship with your mother in this lifetime, or maybe you knew that your soul was going to be put in a position where people were constantly trying to have a competition with you, even though you're not in a competition with anyone. For some of you, I'm getting this very dark vibe of some sort of karmic tie, or even for some of you, like a energy vampire who is going to be in your life for drama, for rivalry. And this will cause growth to your soul because you will learn from these situations, but it's going to be very dark. Shit's gonna be hard shit. It's gonna be drama. It's gonna be really hard for you in the 3D realm. Yeah, whoever this energy vampire is, they're gonna be putting a lot of strain on you in the material world. But don't worry, that's not gonna reach past the material world to the higher realms, because this entity, whoever they are not operating on high enough level to reach you in that way. Not operating in a high enough vibration. So I feel like you saw in this lifetime that you're going to be dealing with a lot of low vibrational entities. Meaning that you are sort of going to be put on a pedestal or maybe ridiculed. There's going to be something that is particularly strange that stands out about you that's going to separate you from the crowd, because you aren't really meant to know that many other high vibrational beings in this lifetime. You were meant to do a lot of work with lower vibrational beings. And I'm feeling like this was a contract. I just saw 555 on the clock. This was a contract for some of you, because you know that your soul is operating in a really high vibration, and you knew that you could help a lot of lower vibrational souls get on the up and up a little. And that was really important to you. But I don't think you realized how much strain it was going to be put on you. Maybe you might have to deal with with fame in this lifetime. Maybe you dealt with fame in your past life. Fame, notoriety, just the things that comes with being known by a lot of people. Some of you are mediums, some of you can talk to the dead, some of you can see beyond the veil, and I feel like while you were transitioning to this life, before you came into this life, you were seeing your past, you were like, you could also see the dead people you were going to meet later on. Like you saw them, you even said hi to them as you were transitioning. You were like, hey, what's up? Like, they're like, ah ha ha, you're going down that path. Like, there's like this camaraderie between like you have this understanding with the souls of the dead that are going to be communicating with you on this life path. So, very deep understanding of death and the realms beyond the veil, you know. That's very definitely something you knew you were going to be getting into this lifetime. The woods is important to you. You didn't live in the woods as a child, then living in the woods would be good for you in your potential choosing of a home or environment that you want to live in. Maybe you will have in the future significant memories inside of some woods. I definitely feel like you were excited to come to a specific point in your life. Like, as you were transitioning to this life, you saw the full timeline, and there's a particular time. I'm feeling like more later in the time, like this is the timeline, the start, this is the end. I'm feeling like around this part of the timeline, you were feeling like you were excited to get there. You were excited to get to that point, whether it was meeting a person or living in a particular place. For a lot more of you, it's living in a particular place. Some of you may have been royalty in a past life, not necessarily this life, but I am seeing a crown at this girl's feet. So I feel like you've learned your lessons from royalty and the hardships that came with that. Maybe on the flip side of that, you're having to endure poverty in this lifetime, and you weren't looking forward to that, obviously, but I feel like you were much more ready for it in this, like, as you were transitioning to this life, more than you were ready in your past lives to be royal again. You were like, not fucking royalty again. So it's definitely a change of pace for you. This life is a change of pace for you. Even if you weren't royalty in your past life, you had a high status in your community. You've always sort of had to deal with people who are envious of you because of your high status, but in this lifetime in particular, it's going to affect you much, much more personally. Because whoever this is or whoever these people are much more dedicated to getting to you on a personal level. When you were transitioning to this life, and you had the like DMT thing that hit you as a baby when you were like first like popping into the 3D world, you saw visions of the sun, you saw visions of the end of the world. Like, you have these very prophetic memories buried in your subconscious that are actually the keys to. It's gonna make a lot of sense to you at the end of your life when you're looking back, but when you were looking forward, you were like, what does this mean? You saw yourself like living through those visions, and you were like, what? But don't worry, because I'm hearing that when you die and you look back on it, it's going to make a lot more sense. So you do have a particular tie with death in this lifetime. Very specifically, because I keep hearing the sun, as you popped into the 3D world, had that hit of DMT, you had a vision of being filled with light, like completely filled to the brim with light, to the point where it was just shooting out of you from every angle. Maybe doing light meditations where you visualize yourself being filled with light in a similar manner might be good for you. Because Queen of Wands is in reverse and Queen of Blades is upright, I'm feeling like you knew, as you transitioned this life, you knew that in this lifetime you were going to have to prioritize your intellect and your mind much over your lower chakras, your instincts, your material pleasures, material understandings, and stuff like that. You're going to have to rely more on your higher chakras. I'm feeling like as you transition this life, you had a particular, there's something you were upset about, and it has something to do with your death. It has something to do with the manner of your death, the events leading up to your death, or I'm hearing specifically like the fact that your body's going to rot in a particular place that you don't want it to be. I don't know, but your soul was kind of mad because there's something about your death that doesn't, it bothers you. I don't fucking know what it is, but maybe it's going to be a particularly traumatic death. I don't want to say this kind of thing because I don't want to write it into your timeline, but that's just what the energy, what I'm getting is like, as you were transitioning to this life, you were not looking forward to having to die. And maybe it's not even the manner of your death or that your death is going to be particularly traumatic. I think it's just like, you don't want to, it's like your soul, every time you have to die, it's like hard for your soul. Your soul really doesn't like the process of dying. Like, no matter how connected to death you are, no matter how much you can talk to people who are dead, your soul does not like it. Like, the feeling of dying is really hard for your soul to go through. And I may be picking up this traumatic death energy from your past life. I'm feeling like your past life had a really traumatic death that your soul sort of did that. It's like your soul did that thing that your brain does where it completely blocks the memory out because your soul wasn't even like ready to accept that. Like, it was some deep shit. So maybe you have some karma that is tied to the events surrounding your death in your past life, because you were taken advantage of in some way. But with this temperance here, I'm feeling like you knew that even though there were going to be hardships for you in this life, something about this life is going to be particularly a lot easier for you. You're going to have a lot easier time maintaining balance emotionally. Because I'm feeling like giving and sharing your spiritual knowledge with other people is really helpful and satisfying to your soul's journey for this lifetime. And I'm feeling like as you transition this life, you saw that and you were just ready and accepting for yourself to be in that energy that is so aligned with who you are. Because you don't get that in every lifetime. You don't get to be aligned with your soul's true purpose in every lifetime. I'm also hearing that your physical attributes, your hair, your face, your body, the clothes you wear, your manner, your aura, all of those things are really aligned with what your soul. Just off 15:15 on the clock, like your soul's manifestation in the 3D of what it is. It's just like I feel like you really like your body, you really like your face, like you really like your physical features in this lifetime because it's really mirroring your soul's appearance. So that was something you were excited about going into this life. I'm seeing a spider at the bottom here, and I'm hearing the legend of Ariadne. I don't know, I don't think it's a legend, but a story. I don't know if it was Ariadne and Arachne. It's just like the Greek goddess or whoever and the spider lady. I forgot what even happened between them, but that might be significant for you, pal, too. Because this is the girl from Crimson Peak, I'm feeling like you sort of just get blown to and fro. Like the events that happen to you happen without you really having a lot of control over it. And it's really, there's a lot of horror. Like it's really grotesque, the things that you end up having to go through or the things that you end up seeing in other people in this lifetime. And even though your soul is good at maintaining balance and staying in your mind and clarity in this lifetime, it's still like, sometimes you're going to look back on your life and you're going to be like, what the hell? I can't believe I was in that situation. I can't believe I got out of that situation. I can't believe I was so calm for that. Like, I don't think you realize how insane and amazing, terrifying some of the stuff you do in this lifetime is. Some of the miracles you end up creating with your spiritual knowledge with these low vibrational entities. It's like crazy, and you're just gonna be doing your own thing. You're gonna think it's so normal until you like take a step back and look back, and you're like, shit, I was really strong for that situation. Like, it took a lot of strength to get through that situation. I think that's something your soul is working on realizing this lifetime, is how strong you are, because you're actually looking back and seeing how strong you'd have to be to get through some of the situations you've been through or are going to go through in this lifetime. And it's like that this lifetime is going to be the real reassurance for your soul that you're a strong entity, you're a strong being, in the way that matters. Like, not physical strength, but gentle strength, the kind that perseveres. I'm seeing lots of red here, so you might have a red aura, or you might thrive with an environment with a lot of red in it, red walls, red trees. Maybe there's like a red animal that you're going to get, like an orange tabby, or maybe there's a soulmate or a karmic person who has red hair, who's a ginger, who's going to be important to you in this lifetime. But yeah, I guess let's get one more card. Hey, I said Queen of Blades upright, and the King of Blades upright is at the bottom of the deck. Some of you are getting your divine counterpart, your divine soulmate in this lifetime. Others of you, when I said temperance, when I said that you're a balanced soul and that you are able to get through some crazy shit, bro, your divine counterparts are literally balanced in this lifetime. So that means that your shadow side and light side are balanced in a way where you don't have to worry about balancing them. You can just take action with that balanced action. When you're taking out imbalanced action, it's going to be successful. So that means you have to be careful which paths you're going down, because they're going to be successful no matter what. It just depends on where you want to be successful in and where you want things to change. Because with Blades, these two, King and Queen of Blades, they have a powerful mental energy. They have a powerful ability to change people's mind, change people's inner world, and change people's preconceptions. You have a very good knack for communication, and I really feel like you should take advantage not only your knack of mental communication, your knack of telepathy, but your ability to not only understand people with clarity, but use language in a way where you can get across to people with clarity. Make sure you're sending across the message you want to send across every time, because, like, any air sign can get way too caught up in their head and gets all foggy. Just make sure you stay in that clarity. Keep a clear mind, clear thoughts, meditate, keep that clarity, and you're good. But yeah, even as a baby, as you were transitioning to life, you're just like very chill, just watching everything going on, just air sign energy. I don't know, super cool. You chose this necklace, amulet. I felt called to grab this heart-shaped rose quartz for your reading. So maybe rose quartz is important to you, or working with rose quartz might help you to align more with your inner child. Let's take a moment to clear the energy for you. Clear the energy of this crystal so it can help us clear the energy from the last reading, and clear my energy so I can channel more effectively for you. Okay. What did you see as you transitioned into this life, pile 3? I'm feeling like a lot of you aren't that spiritual, or even if you are spiritual, you aren't that connected to your past lives. I mean, that's not all of you, but most of you. That sage smells good. I definitely feel like you knew as you were transitioning this life that you've already dealt with a lot of bad karma. You've already closed out a lot of karmic cycles. So even before you saw the paths your soul was going to take, you knew that this life is going to be a lot easier for you, or the focus is going to be less emotionally intense, and it's going to be more centered around the growth of your soul creatively. The people in your life, family, friends, every person you meet is going to be significant to your life in some way. They're not all going to be good people. They're not all going to treat you right. But you definitely are going to meet more than a few like-minded people who share the same ideas as you, a similar life path to you. So that's going to be very fulfilling for you. There's a lot less demonic or low vibrational energies in the last 2 readings, and definitely a lot less lower vibrational energies than your past lives. Yeah, you're definitely going to be in your higher vibration for this life, operating with other people who are also in their higher vibration. You're meant to bring self-love not only to yourself but to other people. You're meant to demonstrate self-love to other people by loving yourself. There's a particular way in which you love yourself that is very influential and could possibly change the state of the world. Like, it's very special. Maybe this is a gift from God of some sort. Spirit, give me the energy for pile 3. What did they see as they transition into this life? What did they see as they transition into this life? We have the Hangman in reverse. Actually, I'm going to put that sideways. Neither reversed nor upright. We have the 5 of Swords upright. And we have Death, which I'm also feeling like should go sideways. Neither upright nor reversed. You saw as you transition this life, your job is going to be significant. I'm feeling like things are going to be a little bit confusing for you in this lifetime until you find your true calling in a job and you're focusing on that. I feel like that's when things will sort of even out and be a little less confusing for you. I'm also feeling in terms of personality, you saw that you were going to be more neutral, less intense of a person than maybe you've been before in a past life, or less intense than your soul is used to, let's say. Less emotionally intense. Maybe you were just constantly having to go through some shit, but I feel like for this lifetime, it's a lot more chill. You might be born into privilege. You might be born with the silver spoon, because there's something about you retaining good karma from your past lives so that it's really easy for you to get through things in this life for some reason, because you're getting things that you deserved in a past life that you didn't get. You're getting those things now in this life. It's like an accumulation of good karma that you deserved but never got, and now that's balancing it back out. You probably don't remember much as you were a baby. You probably don't even have memories until you're about 4 or 5, maybe even older. early childhood wasn't exactly that significant for you. It was actually pretty normal. Early childhood is significant to everybody, but for you, it was pretty normal, pretty standard. I feel like the interesting stuff started to happen later in your childhood, around like 8 or 9 years old. There's something about your inner child being important in this lifetime. Being able to embrace and express your inner child. I'm feeling like you didn't get to do that in your past lives, so you were particularly excited about going into this life because you knew you were going to have a lot more chance to not only embrace and embody your inner child, but be able to have fun in those energies, be able to explore those energies inside of you. Candle magic, or just candle light, is very important to you. It can really help you to have candles around you when you're doing manifestation or magic, or meditating by staring into candlelight is good for you. Maybe in this life you saw that you were going to have a really witchy, unconventional type of life, or maybe later in your life you're gonna have a lot more witchy of a life, where maybe you have an altar in your room, or you just perform magic daily, or there's a specific energy of the environment around you having a very supernatural vibe to it. Maybe you will be brought up by psychic family members, which will help hone your psychic powers. With the Five of Swords here, I'm feeling like not only are you able to help a lot more people in your lifetime, in this lifetime, but you're getting a lot more help from people in this lifetime. Or maybe before you had to fend for your own and you could only really create things for yourself. Now it's more like you have a wider audience, a more engaged audience in terms of your soul's creative expression, and you have people in your life who are going to be supporting you and doing similar projects as you, which is going to motivate you. Yeah, something about your job is very important to your soul. The people who you will be meeting through your job. You're very smart, Pile 3, very smart, very intellectual. You know how to carry a conversation socially, especially at work. You know how to make everybody feel seen and heard. You know how to lay the problem out and the solution out really well for other people. Like, you're really good in a work environment. So you may get a lot of respect from coworkers or bosses or superiors who might help you move up the ladder, just because you'll get a lot of respect a lot more easy in this lifetime. There's an energy of people seeing you for who you truly are, or being able to express who you truly are and not be seen as something else, you know? Like, people see you exactly as you're showing yourself instead of just projecting their own fantasy of you onto you. Again, every relationship in your life is going to be very significant to you, is going to be a huge learning experience for you. Whether it's good or bad, it's just going to be... I feel like you connect with people really deeply, Pile 3. And I feel like you saw, as you transition into this life, some very significant relationships that you were excited for y'all both to learn from. Because it's like, you know that these people are going to bring a lot to the table for you, and you know you're going to have a lot to bring to the table for them. And that's going to both accelerate your soul's growth individually. And that's very beautiful. Yeah, Pile 3. It's not even that you're not spiritual, it's just that you're very smart, very matter of fact. Like, the things you think and the things you do and the things you say are just very logical. They're very true. They hold a lot of truth in them. Unlike Pile 2, your death isn't going to be particularly hard. I'm actually feeling the opposite, where your death is going to be very breezy, very easy for you to get through, because the lessons you're going to learn in your lifetime are going to be essential to how you get through your death in this lifetime. I saw 111 on the clock when I said that. And it's funny because we have 111 on the top of this card here. X111. Exploring the philosophies and ideas of death is going to be important to you in your job, in your lifetime, in your relationships, or whatever. But don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on the afterlife too much, or what's going to happen after. Like, don't dwell on your own death too much is what I'm saying. Or if you have somebody in your life who dies or is going to die or has died, like, I feel like death has the potential to really get to you. So just don't dwell on it too much. Let yourself accept it when it gets there, and then it will be easy for you because you'll be ready for it then. You're just not meant to understand death like that. During your life, you're not meant to understand it like that, but you are meant to explore it philosophically. You have a very authoritative energy in this lifetime, whether or not you are in a position of authority. People unconsciously look towards you for authority, look towards you for advice, for direction and guidance. And this doesn't happen in any way that is a burden onto you, but I think you just knew as you were going into this life that you were going to be leading a lot of people. Maybe you're particularly skilled at whatever you do in your profession and you're helping a lot of other people embrace it as much as you do. Because whatever your profession is, it's something you've done over many lifetimes before, or whatever your soul's creative expression is something your soul has done before or is very familiar with. So at this point in this life, it's just sharing that information, sharing that knowledge instead of learning how. Yeah, I'm hearing for some of you, you might even like have a contract with a group, like a higher dimensional group, that you're going to end up meeting. You either have already met recently or you're going to meet soon, who is going to help you channel your spirituality, your light, into the rest of the earth. Or maybe you might join a group of more ascended people, human beings on earth who are just more ascended and more focused on living and thriving and sharing in that kind of life, a community like that. I'm hearing for some of you covens, you might join a coven. You're just going to have other like-minded people who share the same spiritual position, place of authority. Like, you're very high up on the spiritual ladder is what I'm trying to say. And that's going to manifest in your material world a lot in this lifetime. I keep staring at these angel wings. Like, I keep staring at those angel wings. So you might know an angel. You might be protected by an angel, an archangel of some sort. You might even... I'm feeling like... This is so sweet. For a small bit of you, this lifetime was meant to be the lifetime where you transition into... Like, this is your last lifetime in the 3D. This lifetime was meant to prepare you to transition into your next dimension, or maybe even just ascend fully to become a disembodied entity, so you can fully embrace your angelic principles. I saw 15:15 on the clock when I said that. And even if you don't even if you don't resonate with that, you have this very angelic energy about you that calls people to you in a way they don't understand. it's just some people channel the universe really subtly, but something about you is really direct about it. It's very direct, it's very blunt, it's very transparent, and people can really see the universe through you. It's a really intense energy. So it just gives you this angelic vibe because you're channeling God, you're channeling the universe so clearly, and without any blockages or any filters like that. Physical beauty, physical appearances aren't going to be important to you in this lifetime. The people you meet aren't going to be focused on their own 3D appearance. They're going to be very focused on their spiritual path, their spiritual timeline. You will definitely be meeting people on a higher vibration. Like, you're in a very high vibration, but you're going to be meeting some of the like people way up there in this lifetime because they're going to be helping you out too. You're going to be getting in touch with some very high dimensional energies that are just way beyond the 3-dimensional world, but you're going to understand it because you're in this such high vibration, and you're meant to like take that knowledge and bring it down, if that makes sense. The same way the chakras flow, like the higher dimensions, all the dimensions really flow like chakras, just like a cycle, like gotta go up, but this energy also has to come back down, and it can't just jump from one dimension, like you can't just jump from the 6th dimension to the 3rd dimension. It has to like go from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It has to go through each dimension. Like if you tried to force a one-dimensional being to live in the 3D world, it would just be too much information at once. But if you guided that first dimensional being through the 2nd dimension and then to the 3rd dimension, then they would much easier process it. So there's an emphasis on you spiritually being on a path where you help the process happen. You help the step-by-step process happen of ascension on Earth. You're helping other ascended masters help set up for this process of the Earth's ascension. Some of you might be air signs. I feel like you knew as you transitioned into this life that you were going to be very in your head, that you're going to be very like up in your higher chakras, like up in like a more imaginative world. So maybe just try to like connect to the earth, lay out in the sun, do things like that just bring you pleasure sometimes. Like material pleasure doesn't matter that much to you, but I feel like, enjoy your time on Earth while you're still here, because for some of you, this is your last cycle on Earth. Which is probably exactly why it doesn't interest you that anymore. You're like, okay, material pleasure. I've seen it, I've done it, I've been there. And that's sort of what you're helping teach other people, is like the temporariness of each feeling, of each satisfaction. You're helping not only, because it's like for yourself, you've got everything going, you've got everything completed, but it's like your focus in this lifetime is more on helping other people begin karmic cycles and close out karmic cycles. And this is the people in your life, the people you surround yourself with, the people who are on a higher vibration with you. And this is also you helping the earth itself close out a karmic cycle and begin a new karmic cycle with this new dimension we are ascending into. So, let's get one more card. I don't think I'm going to pull a card for the DMT trip you had as a baby, because there isn't a lot of emphasis on your infancy in this reading. It just wasn't that important or wasn't that significant. It was really just like a stepping stone for the real deal, which is kind of what I feel like the material world was like for you. Is like material world wasn't that interesting. It was just how it was. It was really just a stepping stone into the higher dimensional being you're truly meant to be. The higher dimensions you were truly meant to live in and thrive in. So So let's see. Spirit, one more card. What did my pile 3 see as they transition into this life? We have 10 of Cups. Your family is going to be very significant. You're going to build a very important family. The children you have are going to be passed down this knowledge, this higher dimensional knowledge that you give to them. If not that, then the partners you have, the relationships you have, are going to leave a mark long after y'all are both gone or both separated or both dead. The people in your life that you're going to meet are going to be people who are also, some of them are also going to be ascending to the next dimension with you, and that's why y'all are meeting in this lifetime, is like, we're ready to go, let's do this together, so we aren't too scared to do it. Yeah, because that initial leap from a lower dimension to the next higher up dimension is like really hard. It's a really significant change. It's literally opening up your perspective an entire another dimension. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's not necessarily scary as much as it's overwhelming, which is why it's easier for you, for your soul and for your friends' souls to, like, y'all have each other, y'all are a soul tribe, and y'all are ready to make this transition together. And that's what makes it easier and more beautiful, is that y'all are going through this together. Y'all are going through this material world, and y'all are stepping right up to that higher dimension y'all are ready to be in together. And it's like, you saw as you transition to this life how everything, every action you make, every thought you have is going to lead up to that moment where y'all all transition together. You and your soul tribe transitioning to the next phase of dimensionality, the next vibration, you know. And not only you learning that transition for yourself and your soul tribe, but helping the rest of the world get through it.